looked up how to find my art style or what is my art style, only to go on YouTube or Google. All the advice you're getting is just draw more. You'll figure it out the more you draw. So you do that. Draw more, you practice more, do all the correct things, and you still don't have an art style. That is the worst advice you can hear to give to someone trying to find their art style. So f that, and we're gonna find our art style. Hi everybody, my name is Sam Bell and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about finding our art style, and the intro basically said it all. The advice you've been given is to keep drawing more, just keep practicing, then you'll figure it out. And I think that's the worst advice you can hear. What do you mean just keep drawing and then you'll figure it out? I don't even know what I like to draw, how I like to draw it, what colors to use. Do I like using line work? Do I like to render it more? Thankfully, I've actually found a couple videos that will actually help you get your art style. And I'm gonna be the proof, and I'm gonna test it out for everyone. Stay tuned while we figure out our art style. So the first video that I actually found is from Brooke Glaser. The whole video is about the acronym SCOPE, which is shapes, colors, object, perspective and form, and your edge work or your line work. And it's actually the first piece of advice that I've actually found is useful about how that's a good tool or how you should find your art style using that acronym. I think a lot of artists have gone through this thing of trying to find art style with not a clue. And like, no one tells you anything useful online to find your art style. It's all bullshit. So when I finally found her video, I was like, wow, this is actually some useful advice to find my art style about the acronym of SCOPE. So the first letter in that is going to be S, and those are our shapes. In your art, the shapes that you draw are kind of like the base for your drawings. So kind of going back to perspective and form, construction. Going back to construction, which we did a couple months ago now, the shapes that you use are very important. So the organic, the inorganic shapes, they're coming all back. But when we figure out what kind of shapes that we like to draw, we already have that base sketch. So for myself, I like to draw a lot more like organic shapes. I don't love doing the geometric or the super harsh lines, and same with like my shading and my coloring. I kind of like them all a bit more blended out and a bit more lighter versus the geometric shape of it. You can also have a mix of both. You can do a bit more of like an organic base and then have kind of a geometric shading, if that makes sense. And for my kind of examples of the shapes that I like to use, I do like using the more organic shapes and everything. I do like mixing in like the odd inorganic shapes to kind of like stress something, if that makes sense. Like if I'm drawing someone with a pointed hat, I'd probably make it a bit more pointy than rounded. I like that contrast that the shapes have with each other. So I'm definitely going to be playing with that a bit more the more I draw and everything. And then moving on to C of SCOPE, which is color. This kind of can make or break your art. Color is very important in art and a lot of different things, right? And you'll see a lot of the time that how your art gets recognized is sometimes by the color. So maybe artists will use a certain color palette throughout the whole way, or maybe they'll always only use one color and like a black. Do you know what I mean? A lot of artists stick with a coherent color palette so that the art is recognizable in the future. And for me, with my color palettes, I definitely like them a bit more, not super intense or like super vibrant or like saturated. I think I like my colors a bit more muted, but I do love using a multiply layer with like a lavender color to do some of my shading with it. I think it just adds like such a nice touch, and it kind of brings in all the colors together that I'm using in my piece. And specifically, I think this also comes with like my graphic design background as well. I don't love using every color of the rainbow. I've definitely tried that out when I've tried to copy other people's work of using the exact same color palette they did, but I feel like the color palette's very like intuitive sometimes to the artist and how they're expressing the work or what's going into it, right? And I think with my colors as well, like I love using texture or like textured brushes. So I don't love the super rendered out like only with like a soft airbrush look. I like them a bit messier or a bit different. And I like kind of that texture look, so I always use like a paper texture. With my colors, I think that adds in a lot of if you like using textures in your work. And I think you should try them out, because before like I wasn't using like textures at all. In my opinion, and how I've grown as an artist, I think that my work is a lot better with texture. I just think it makes the work or my final piece look a lot more interesting. And another way you can do that is by, if you're using your iPad or on a drawing tablet, you can add a noise to give that texture as well. It's just a fun way to bring more life into your work. I think especially if you do more children's illustrations or a bit more cartoony looks in a sense, I think it just adds a lot more vibrancy to your work. Moving on to O of SCOPE, which is objects. Now, this is what you like to draw. Don't limit yourself, but I think keep it in a in a container with an open lid. That's another very easy way to identify yourself as an artist of what you draw. And for clients as well, if you're doing this to sell your work more or to make a profit off of your art, I think it's important to find that niche that you love to draw and stick with that. So I think when you try so much, it's great that you're trying it. I think just keep it in a jar with an open lid. So for me, I love drawing like people or like little creatures, I guess. I'm kind of getting into that little creatures vibe more and more. But I think I just like drawing like little guys and like organic shapes or like big chubby bodies, that kind of idea. I think those are a lot of fun for me too. And I think with my objects as well, I love tapping into like that fantasy or that whimsical feeling that you see a lot in art, which is great because it goes into like children's illustrations and that kind of idea. So I'm definitely honing in on the little creatures and like whimsy vibe that you're gonna get a lot. I think your objects are very important. And with my objects as well, I want to practice drawing more animals. So let me know if you guys want to see a video on that of learning how to draw animals, because oh my gosh, it's something. It's once again a huge world to draw animals, right? I want to get better at drawing animals, and I think that comes with practicing my gestures and things like that. So my objects are slowly expanding, but I also think it goes into the theme that you like. So I was thinking about earlier, like fantasy and the whimsical. I like that theme, hidden magic that you see every day in life, another thing I'm passionate about besides the point. I think that's very important to me and is very on brand for me as a person and where I want this journey to go in a sense. But objects are important. It keeps that sense of familiarity in your art and in your work. So moving on to the P in scope, which is perspective and form. And it's not necessarily the perspective of drawing a cube or your form of what blobs you use. It's a lot more of how you show depth in your work. It's about how you shading your work. Are you using cross-hatching and more lines, or are you a bit more focused on the solid blocks of colors? Are those colors blurred out? And for my perspective and form, I like to use a combo, I feel like, of cross-hatching and of just having blobs of color, because for me, I like a strong line work and I like having small lines that show definition or that depth I'm looking for, having the interest of a new color added in for shading. But a great example for depth of cross-hatching is going to be like tattoos. There's a technique called stippling, which is a bunch of little lines to get in shading, and then you can accompany that with some more depth, solid blocks of color. There's a lot of different ways, but I think with tattooing, it's just the black line art of tattoos. I think it's a lot more of the cross-hatching or the stippling effect that you'll get. If you're into that kind of look, definitely just check out tattoos on Pinterest. You'll see so many examples of how different artists shade all their art styles as well. It's just a great example of that. And then for the other version of showing depth of blocks of color, there's a lot of that. A lot of people may do a super dramatic different color. It might be very subtle. It might be a gradient, or it might just be the outline that you want of it. It's definitely unique to you, hence the art style point of view. But I just think it's whatever you're comfortable, and you can definitely use a combo like what I do. That's what I'm going to be practicing more of. I feel like with my line work sometimes I get a little bit excited and I do too much, or it's just too much sometimes. So I want to focus on doing that more in my art. And then finally, moving on to the E of scope, which is edges and line work. This is if you like to draw line work and edges in your work. So do you like having the line art or the line work or the final piece, or do you just like the blocks of color? I think this also plays a bit with rendering as well. It's again a slippery slope. You don't need to over render your work, and there's a fine line that we shouldn't cross with rendering. But I used to not have that final line art and I would just render out, and it's just not for me. I think I like that line art to make everything look crisp and clean and in their place in a sense. I feel like with the rendering or having no line art, I've tried that before. It just does not suit my style of I like adding lots of shading and highlights and different colors. I think that is very, once again, very unique to who's drawing or you as an artist, over rendering and things like that. So I think there is that fine line of over rendering your work with line art. Do have that look of it's a line work and the super gradient. I bet you've seen so many examples of all this, right? It's just what's unique to you. So I think establishing if you like the line work in your art is a great way to start, and then you get the vibe of everything else, right? And once again, for edges and line work, tattoos are a great example of line work. You'll see so many. If you just Google tattoos, you'll see the different art styles of just having line art, and that's a big world and that's an intimidating world. I think just decide if you like having the line work in your art, or decide if you like the rendering more blurred out look in your work. artwork. So once you've figured out your scope, actually having the building blocks now of finding your art style, we can move on to Mark Burnett's video, who I love and always has had like a great YouTube art channel. And his advice is something that I preach a lot, and was from the other month of Steal Like an Artist, about copying. To copy other people's art to find your own art style. Because you don't know until you try. If you just try random stuff without a plan, then you're not gonna get anywhere. But after watching this video, you will have a plan on how to find your art style. I know, copying sounds scary in the art world, and it sounds like you shouldn't do it, but like I said, in Steal Like an Artist, we copy all the time. That's how we learn the alphabet, that's how musicians learn music. Why can't artists copy art to learn? Once again, copying is not plagiarizing. We're not trying to make profit off of this, or we're not trying to say that we drew Starry Night when the whole world knows that we didn't, but we can take inspiration from others' art and copy their art to learn and then to move on. Mark Burnett is talking about this whole point, and I'm happy it's being less stigmatized. I'm happy we're opening this up to drawing and to art of learning just to copy people's work. So once we have our shapes and our colors, our objects, our perspective and form, and our edge work, we figured out those basic building blocks, then we can move on to finding references that we want to copy. I do this all the time, and I'll show you mine, but I just made a new Pinterest board. I previously had a drawing style one. It was not in tune anymore with where I want to go with my art, so I scrapped it and I made a new one called Scope, and I put together all of the artwork, something that was inspiring or had something that I liked about it, and I put it onto that new Pinterest board. You can do this in a Google Docs, an Excel sheet, whatever floats your boat. Once we have all those reference photos, we're now going to gather information. For when we're gathering this information, I want you to physically write down what you like about this work. Do you like colors that they use? Do you like the line work? Think about the scope and write down what you liked about each of them. There's a difference between admiring someone's work and having that jealous or envy feeling. I get trapped in this so much, and I'll show another example of me admiring someone's work and just loving their art and forcing that onto myself. So desperate to find an art style. Admiration and that envy feeling are different. They are both fine and they are both good emotions. You gotta know the difference for when you're trying to develop your art style. If you feel envious about someone's work and wow, I loved how they use those colors, I love that pop of pink, that pop of purple, I want that in my art. That's envy, and that's what you write down. You don't write down, I'm like, oh, the flowers are really pretty that they drew. No, you need to separate those two emotions to actually get a good start to finding your art style. When you're analyzing these reference photos, you want to think about what you're looking for in your art, or something that you want to add to your art. So maybe a bit more of that whimsy feeling. So maybe you'll look up children's book illustrations. Maybe you can find that whimsy feeling in those, right? I think having that scope that we talked about earlier as the guideline is so helpful to looking at what you want to find. People would tell us, just draw. What am I looking for? I have no idea what I'm looking for, and I hate hearing that advice. You need to draw to develop your skills, not necessarily to develop your style. You gotta copy other people's work and you gotta go from it from there. Once we have found our reference photos and analyzed them using Scope, can now fine tune our work, which is annoying, which kind of contradicts what I was saying of just draw, but we need a plan. And this is where Scope comes in again. We are going to categorize our reference photos, and then we are going to apply that into our work. So we can do the Scope acronym again, so SCOPE, and then we can categorize it like that, and then start copying. Copy all of it. Trace it even. Trace it and practice it. Get that feeling of how they draw that curve or how they draw hair. Get that feeling down, and I think you'll be on your way. Just copy all the photos that you found, or the ones that really speak to you, and you will have a great start into finding your art style. Now, I can't say that I have found my art style from just watching these two videos and practicing it on my own, but I can tell you it has been much better advice than just drawing. Because I feel like before I would just be drawing and drawing pictures or art that I found from Pinterest, and none of it resonated. None of it helped me in any way. It was just making me more frustrated and more insecure and more like I didn't want to even do the work to become an artist anymore. So if you were feeling that way, my God, I felt that. And I think so many other people have found that, of that kind of desperation in a sense to just wanting to find your art style. It's hard and it's tricky, but I think by going through Scope on Brooke Glaser's video and watching Mark Burnett's video about copying other people's work, already such a bigger step and a better step. It listening to other people of just drawing, or just keep drawing and you'll figure it out. That didn't happen for me. I didn't just draw and figure it out. I'm still developing and fine-tuning my work. I'm still figuring out who I want to be or where I want to go as an artist. That's fine. Draw what you want. You have your plan now of scope and copying, and I think you'll be on your way to finding your art style. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please feel free to subscribe and join me on this journey. I have lots more fun videos coming out in the future, so I hope to see you guys soon. Bye guys.